Hello, this is first video in the series of physical therapy in geriatrics, and we will review terminologies and meanings which are prevalent in the literature. So we would go through various terminologies related with physiotherapy in geriatric age group, and we would learn the importance of using correct terminology. Aging has different connotations in our civilization. When we talk of aging, we have the image of a frail elderly who has trouble in walking, takes assistance while walking, needs help with certain activities of daily living, etc. Rarely we think of elderlies climbing mountains and playing tennis, especially if we have not come across those scenarios during our experience or upbringing. Um, First and foremost, we need to know what is aging, what is geriatrics, and what is senescence before we jump on to physiotherapy and geriatrics. As you know, the life cycle of human being is divided into different phases, that is infancy, toddler, childhood, young adulthood, middle-aged, elderly, and elderly. Each phase of life has standard of growth, development, and maturation. Therefore, we need to know the reference of those growth and development in particular phase of life. So, if you want to identify pathological deficit in particular phase of life, you need to know the standards of development, growth, and maturation in that particular phase of life, and that applies to geriatrics too. There are many prevalent terms which are used interchangeably or synonymously to describe aging, and they are aging, gerontology, and geriatrics. Now, aging is manifested by cellular and subcellular changes within all tissues, and according to Rose, aging is a persistent decline in age-specific fitness components of an organism due to internal physiological degeneration. So basically, Rose wants to tell us that the adaptation to the environment decreases with age. Senescence is little different concept than aging, and it refers to degenerative process which is ultimately incompatible with life. Now, coming on to gerontology, it comes from Greek terms geron and logos, which means study of old men. Gerontology is often thought of as study of aged and can include the aging process in humans and animals. The field of gerontology is very broad, and it includes historical, philosophical, religious, political, psychosocial, anthropological, and sociological issues of elder population. So the field is quite broad, and we should also know that term geriatrics is often used to describe medical interventions in elderly. Therefore, geriatrics is connected with gerontology. In some preliminary definitions, it is worth to note that there is some functional decline which accompanies normal aging, and when you see these declines in functioning in aged people, they do not, or they are insufficient to account for symptoms for diseases. And when you study the diseases that are found in elderly, the broad field is called as geriatrics. The term geriatrics was coined by Ignaz Nasker in 1909, and he described the new terminology geriatrics and emphasized on introduction of this terminology into the medical vocabulary. This was mentioned in New York Medical Journal 1909, and he stated that geriatrics come from Greek word, and how pediatrics is related to study of diseases in childhood. In the same way, geriatrics should be associated with diseases of old age, and they should be assigned a separate place in medicine. Fundamentally, geriatric medicine encompasses three essential bodies of knowledge, and here we would see how gerontology is contributing to geriatric medicine. The first body of knowledge that is gerontology, is essential for practice of pediatrics. And we should also know that one cannot effectively practice geriatrics without understanding the basic fundamentals of aging itself. So here I concise the definition of gerontology for the practice in geriatric medicine. Therefore, gerontology is study of aging and is also a fundamental scientific field relevant to geriatric medicine, and it encompasses the study of demography of aging, the biology of aging, the neuropsychology of aging, and medical gerontology. The second component of the body of knowledge in geriatrics is disease specific. That is, geriatrics requires knowledge of diseases that are common in aged than in middle-aged people, such as Alzheimer's disease, and there should be knowledge of how common diseases are prevalent in elderlies, and how is their physiology distinct from middle-aged men or women. That is, the presentation of the diseases like pneumonia, hypertension, diabetes, hyperthyroidism all differ in old age. The third component of geriatric medicine is called complexity. Now, most of the cases in middle-aged men, the diseases are usually single in nature, but in geriatrics or in geriatric age group, the diseases are usually multifold. There may be many comorbidities, there may be polypharmacy, the problem of polypharmacy, there may be many syndromes which requires multidisciplinary coordinated care. Here I also want to say that complexity refers to the fact that many older patients they suffer from problems in multiple spheres of physical, functional, and psychological and social health. So here we require multidisciplinary teams. Another terminology which has gained prevalence or gained importance is successful aging, and it's a multidimensional concept articulated in late 1980s, and it was elaborated by Rowe and Kahn in 1990s, and its goal is to distinguish between individuals with characteristics of usual aging and those adults who have managed successful aging. So here they describe the concept of successful aging with presence of three elements, that is, there is no disease and disability. Second, people are maintaining, or the aged people are maintaining high physical activity and cognitive function, and they are sustaining themselves and engaging themselves in social and productive activities. Now, Rowe and Kahn provided with key components that make up the model for successful aging. To summarize, they emphasize on successful aging with the following points, that is, absence of disease and disability, high cognitive and physical functioning, and active engagement with life. Now, there were some shortcomings with Rowe and Kahn's model, and it was limited in concept of successful aging, and it was more related to people without having any disease. So Brummel and Smith gave concept of optimal aging. Here Brummel and Smith define optimal aging as the capacity to function across many domains of life, that is physical, functional, cognitive, emotional, social, and spiritual, to one's satisfaction in spite of having medical conditions. So this conceptualization recognizes importance of optimal functional capacity of older adults regardless of presence or absence of chronic health condition. So in conclusion, we have looked at different terminologies and we try to understand their use, and there are certain terminologies which may encounter in future lectures. So that's all for now. Have a good day.